Hi, beautiful. We are reading today in the text, chapter 27, The Healing of the Dream. And we are reading in section 7, The Dreamer of the Dream, in paragraph 9. Actually, you know what? Let's start in 8. It gives a little more context. No one can waken from a dream the world is dreaming for him. He becomes a part of someone else's dream. He cannot choose to waken from a dream he did not make. Okay, I'll pause here and say, we've read in a few different ways in a few different sections that the way we justify being a victim is that the ego, when we're ego identified, then we have the false belief that we are a figurine inside of a dream that we're not controlling. That's how it works. So no one can waken from a dream the world is dreaming for him. That's how the ego kind of keeps us asleep. Like, this is happening to you. You're not doing this. He becomes a part of someone else's dream. He cannot choose to waken from a dream he did not make. Helpless he stands, a victim to a dream conceived and cherished by a separate mind. Careless indeed of him this mind must be, as thoughtless of his peace and happiness as is the weather or the time of day. It loves him not, but casts him as it will in any role that satisfies its dream. So little is his worth that he is but a dancing shadow leaping up and down according to a senseless plot conceived within the idle dreaming of the world. You know, at this point, it's like you're just a puppet. You're being controlled because someone else is the dreamer and you're a figurine, a puppet in the dream. So that's basically the ego's perspective. This is the only picture you can see, the one alternative that you can choose. The other possibility of cause, if you be not the dreamer of your dreams. And this is what you choose if you deny the cause of suffering is in your mind. The cause of suffering is in your mind. Be glad indeed it is, for thus are you the one decider of your destiny in time. The choice is yours to make between a sleeping death and dreams of evil, or a happy wakening and joy of life. It seems so obvious, doesn't it? That, well, of course I have a choice between a sleeping death and dreams of evil. If I have a choice between that or happy awakening and joy of life, of course I'm going to choose the happy awakening and joy of life. But let's pause and be honest with ourselves for a moment. I'll speak for myself. Have there been times where I was so convinced I was right and that this other person had done something wrong and I needed to convince them they'd done something wrong, and I didn't care if I was arguing and fighting and making things miserable and projecting and blaming, and that was my focus, and I was bringing disharmony to the situation and ego? Yeah, there have been those times, and in that moment I wasn't acting sane. And it says again and again in A Course in Miracles, the ego is not sane. The ego will choose misery and death over happiness every time. It doesn't make sense. Well, ego doesn't make sense. And that's why in A Course in Miracles it says you can be hostage to ego and its insane delusions, or you can be host to God and the truth. The choice is yours to make between a sleeping death and dreams of evil, or a happy awakening and joy of life. What could you choose between but life or death, waking or sleeping, peace or war, your dreams or reality, your reality? There is a risk of thinking death is peace because the world equates the body with the self which God created. Yet a thing can never be its opposite, and death is opposite to peace because it is the opposite of life, and life is peace. Awaken and forget all thoughts of death, and you will find you have the peace of God. Yet if the choice is really given you, then you must see the causes of the things you choose between exactly as they are and where they are. This is in paragraph 11, and I'll skip down to the end of paragraph 11. It asks a question. How could you doubt it while you lie asleep and dream in secret that its cause is real? a brother separate from yourself, an ancient enemy, a murderer who stalks you in the night and plots your death, yet plans that it be lingering and slow. Of this you dream. Yet underneath this dream is yet another in which you become the murderer, the secret enemy, the scavenger, and the destroyer of your brother and the world alike. Here is the cause of suffering, the space between your little dreams and your reality, the little gap you do not even see, the birthplace of illusions and fear, time of terror and an ancient hate, the instant of disaster are all here. Here is the cause of unreality, and it is here that it will be undone. You are the dreamer of the world of dreams. No other cause it has nor ever will. Oh my goodness. It's so direct. It's so blunt. And it is coming from the highest love, because the call is to please wake up from the nightmare. Have you seen in conflicts do you see in wars how both sides are convinced the other side is evil and wrong and they need to be punished for their sins? Both sides believe this with equal veracity, and they have their list of evidences of how the other side started it. The other side is evil. The other side deserves this. We can dream a nightmare. We're allowed to do that. And we will not have peace until the ancient hate is undone. And we aren't going to do it by fixing, forcing, or correcting other people, because that's always ego. The ego always wants to go outside and fix, force, change, and correct all those idiots out there. It never wants to go and look inward and address the root cause of their suffering. But the soul will gladly go within and see that you are innocent still. There may be errors in thinking that can be undone, but there is no shame, there is no guilt. There is no secret wish for death that the ego has. And A Course in Miracles is inviting us home. To the love that we are. The beauty, the wisdom, the strength, the innocence that we are at our core. And the ego doesn't want you to see that. Because once you've seen that, you would never be tempted by war, on a small scale or a large. And our job isn't to go out there and fix it out there. We start here. We have to fix it here first, because it's all being projected from here as the dreamer of the dream. I love you so much. Thank you for being here.